Don't miss the tea. Subscribe now.
Girl, pour me another glass. A big one. You are not going to believe what has been happening with my life. You know how I've been stressed? Well, that was just the appetizer. The main course is served and it tastes like garbage. We need to talk about the house in Michigan. Yes, that rental property. It has turned into the single biggest nightmare of my adult life. Let me take you back to November of last year. I decided to sell the place. I live in California and I was done being a long-distance landlord, so I was responsible. On November 7th, I emailed my property manager, Gary. I was crystal clear. I said, Gary, the lease is ending. Do not renew it. I am selling the house. I need the property vacant. Simple, right? Even a toddler understands house for sale, no people inside. And Gary replied. He wrote back saying, no problem, we will keep it vacant for you. We can even help you coordinate the sale. He promised me in writing that the house would be empty. So I chill out for the winter, fast forward to June. I list the house and we get a buyer immediately. We went under contract for $113,000. I was already mentally spending that check on an Amalfi Coast trip. We are 1 week away from closing. 1 week. My real estate agent goes over to the property to do a final check. She calls me. And her voice, I knew instantly something was wrong. My agent is on the phone 1 week before closing and she sounds confused. She goes, hey, did you authorize staging furniture? I'm like, what? No, why? And she drops the bomb. There's furniture in the house, there's a TV, there's food in the fridge, there are people living here. My heart stopped. I immediately hang up and email Gary, the property manager. I'm like, Gary, why is there furniture in MY house? I told you I am selling. It needs to be vacant. And do you know what this absolute incompetent turnip did? Despite my written instructions from November, despite him acknowledging those instructions, he placed a new tenant in the property, and not just a month-to-month thing. He signed them up for a full 1-year lease. I screamed. But wait, it gets worse. The buyer, the one offering $113,000, they find out there's a tenant and obviously freak out. They wanted a house to live in, not a landlord hostage situation. The tenant refused to leave because legally they had a lease because Gary is a moron. So the buyer walks away. The deal implodes. Poof. $113,000 gone. My Amalfi Coast trip. Gone. I was devastated. But honey, if you think the loss stops there, you are so wrong. Buckle up. So Gary, the property manager, cost me my buyer. I had to relist the property as tenant occupied, which nobody wants. I finally found another buyer, but I had to sell it for $110,000. So Gary's stupidity already cost me $3,000 in sale value. But you would think, at least there's a tenant paying rent while you wait to sell, right? Wrong. This tenant that Gary found against my will, they were the tenant from hell. From the moment the drama started, they stopped paying rent. They stopped paying utilities. They just squatted there. I had to go through a nightmare eviction process from California. Finally, we got them out and the sale closed. But then I got the final ledger from Gary. I looked at the numbers and nearly threw up. Between the unpaid rent, the unpaid utilities, legal fees, and damages, the total bill was $9,675.90. Plus the $3,500 I lost on the sale price. We are talking over $13,000 in damages, all because Gary played God. So naturally, I sent a demand letter saying, you breached our contract. You owe me this money. And the response I got, this is the tea that has me boiling. This is the gaslighting of the century. Gary's boss writes back and basically says, well, we looked at what you originally bought the house for 10 years ago, and we see that you still made a profit overall on the investment, so we don't think we owe you anything. Excuse-me. Can you believe the audacity? They are literally saying, oh, you didn't lose all your money, just some of it, so it's fine that we ignored your instructions and cost you 13 grand. That is completely irrelevant. That's like if a mechanic smashed my car windows and said, well, the engine still starts. It doesn't matter what I bought the house for in 2014. It matters that in 2025, their incompetence caused me to lose a sale and stuck me with a deadbeat tenant. So now I'm in legal limbo. I want to sue them for my $13,000, but I'm terrified of the logistics. Do I have to fly to Michigan in the winter to stand in small claims court? I feel like I have an open and shut case. I have the emails where I said vacant and they said okay, but I'm so tired. Part of me wants to just eat the loss for my mental health, but then I think about their smug email and I get fired up again. What would you do? Would you fight it? Passive income, my ass. This is active trauma.